First of all, as you understand the construct behind your DNA, as it were, you understand the DNA to be a physical structure that creates both your genetics and the construct in which way those genetics come to the forefront of your physicality, the creation of yourself in a physical structure. And of course, this is part of the energy that is embedded within the creation of DNA and within the creation of your blueprint as a human being. But the DNA holds much greater constructs of energy in both an energetic sense and a metaphysical sense as well. First of all, assigning the understanding between the genetic inherence of DNA. Of course, your scientists have this understood to a degree, and for the most part what they do understand and know suffices enough for us not to have to dissect too deeply in this moment. You understand that through the auspice of your sexual co-creation between genetic parents, that two forms of DNA are given to the sperm and the egg cell, and of course that is created into a new form of DNA, some that is taken from both sides and expressed through either dominant or recessive traits of those genes. Now this portion is where the construct becomes slightly different in the way that your own scientists understand. Yes, the probable traits do come from both parents, but the choosing of that genetic comes when the consciousness attaches to the physical form at the very first, what we call string portion connection. Now, for lack of better terms, this occurs quite quickly after the inception itself. There may be 5 soul consciousnesses that choose to, for lack of better terms, lay claim to that egg. And out of those entities, they will all co-create their own internal dialogue and place a collective thumbnail within as a placeholder. They will express that in one moment we will decide amongst ourselves which entity will go into this physical form. Now, this occurs in small percentages for the most part. The one soul that desires it most greatly will already have inherited that position before egg and sperm connect, but the free will of those that are the genetic parents have a great deal to play. Some souls have chosen different sperm than that of their perceivable father due to the circumstances of free will, either the elimination of a certain relationship, but a heavy feel of importance to enter through the mother and through that mother's auspice of life. Therefore they will create, even without their original formed genetic father, as an imprint, or that of a blueprint, and still work. But after the egg has entered and sperm has connected, that thread starts. Whether that is a singular consciousness or collective, eventually it is down to one soul essence that places that higher form of genetic energy. Now this approaches somewhere within the auspices of 4 to 12 weeks of the soul. Then a larger print of that energy is placed within the fertilized egg, and that energy of genetics starts pulling forward more so what is occurring there. Now, of course, the basic genetic modification of that egg already has occurred well before this time. The sex of that entity is already chosen. The physical structure, as far as the greater body having both arms, both legs, 2 eyes, ear, spine, heart, all of those things are already decided. And the energy at that moment of the singular soul consciousness then dictates the foregoing of the rest of the genes, and as it were seen as human, as a randomization of genes that would occur through recessive and dominant traits. In fact, is the soul, for lack of better terms, choosing those finer details for the physical body to hold. having already imprinted an idea. It is much to who play video games as a character-building screen, where you would go through and choose the eye colour, choose the tone of body in generality, whether it is outside or inside of normality, and whether in its most natural state, if it were to be girthy, more slender. All of this is placed within that greater understanding and chosen, and once this occurs, then the egg develops on forward.